What is up, BWO world? It's your guy Corey with my buddy and co-host Spartan and Patrick. Um, we were supposed to have a guest tonight. Um, Adam, I believe is his first name, right?
Anthony from
Anthony.
Poncho's Army.
Anthony, right? From Pancho's Army, but he's camping with his family, and the service is bad. So, all you Bills Mafia people out there, let's start a thing and get him some Starlink. But so he won't be joining us tonight, but you can't be mad at that when it's all for family and it's nobody's fault. So you just stuck with our three ugly mugs tonight. Sorry about that. But tonight we're gonna get into obviously the biggest elephant in the room besides Spartan's head is
All right, now.
they put me on the spot to host tonight at the last second. All right, my bad. Here we go.
You would have said that regardless.
I've been smoking meat all day. So,
Yeah.
but
Meat.
no, James Cook, boys, we finally got the signing. What do you guys think about it? Pat, go ahead.
So I think it's great. Again, for the first time all off season, I mean that's been the number one question is Cook 100% committed to this season and this team? And I'm not gonna lie, up until we saw the news, I wasn't convinced that he was committed to this season. Obviously that has changed since he now got the new deal. And we've said it before on this show, and Corey and you and I have been guests on the K Gun. Shared our opinions on it too. None of us have ever wanted him to leave or not be part of the team. We all believe that we are a better team with him than without him. Can we do this without him if need be? Sure. Our chances are significantly better with him, but all we wanted was people that are committed to being in that uniform and playing for that uniform that's on their backs. And honestly, we said that if both sides can't come to an agreement, then you got to both move on. It's not fair to the player to keep him around if he doesn't want to be there, and it's not fair to the team to have him around when clearly he doesn't want to be there. Especially when you're building a Super Bowl caliber team, you need all guys all in, ready to go. My only concern is I don't believe the media storm with this is anywhere near being done. I do think that for right now until the regular season it will end, but man, he is going to have to outperform big time now because now it went from proving you deserve to get paid to now you need to prove why you just got paid.
Right. Do it again. What do you think, Spartan?
So I ain't gonna lie. To me, it kind of came as a surprise, um, just because this is the first time Bean, in his 9 years with us, has uh, gone for a second contract on a running back. He
A
has
rookie
never
running
done that in
back.
the past. Yeah, rookie running back. He's never
He's
done
giving
that.
Ty Johnson his second.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
So
he did.
yeah. So it kind of threw me, especially with what was originally demanded. I mean, I again, just like everyone else, didn't want him to leave, but again, I don't want to fill up a roster spot with somebody who might not play.
Right.
So for me, it was a shit or get off the pot moment, and I'm glad I'm glad we made it work. Obviously 48 mil, or was it 48 or 46? 48,
48.
right? 48
Yeah.
mil for 4 years, with 30 million guaranteed. Um, I mean, from what it's coming out, it's 15.2 million is guaranteed at signing. So that's a lot that we just paid up for him. So I'm hoping that his numbers this year prove that he is worth it. And this doesn't happen to be another Von Miller incident where we had, a glimpse of him for, one season, and that was pretty much it. So I'm hoping that, this is a different story, that we finally get to turn that page, get to the Super Bowl and win and hoist the Lombardi one last time at Highmark Stadium, the old Highmark, and then raise the banner in the new Highmark Stadium.
Yeah, man. That one, every time I
Now-
think about that in the parade, oh my gosh.
So Corey,
ahead.
you brought up in the pre-show thing that we do, you brought up the episode of Hard Knocks, and it's funny because
Right.
yesterday when we were watching the K-Gun in the comments section, I had posted, and it literally just hit me like his hold in or out, whatever you want to refer it to. It literally started as the Hard Knocks cameras showed up for the first episode.
Yep.
Part of me thinks the hold in part was kind of the Hard Knocks crew saying, hey, we need just a little bit of drama from this team to make entertaining TV, which, again, I get that. You know, us
Right.
being wrestling fans, I mean, that's not an unorthodox thing.
Right.
And again, you said you watched Hard Knocks, and it was like, damn, that might be right.
Well, as soon as like for anybody, I don't want to. Well, I mean, it came out yesterday, and you've had a whole nother day, so it's not like I'm spoiling anything. If you haven't watched it now, sorry, not sorry. But it like after about the first 10 or 15 minutes, that's exactly what it got into, was the James Cook holdout thing, and I was like, hold on, he was practicing all training camp, and then the rumor and the thing came out that he wanted to play during the game the other day, and they were like, no. So it was hard not to believe. Like, I was like, did they do this? Because then as soon as the episode came out, like even like Spartan said, then all of a sudden the contract came out at what, 11 o'clock last night?
11 o'clock.
Yeah, and the episode aired at 9. So I was like, wait, hold on a second. Like it's like it said, it's just hard not to believe that. Like, because even in the episode when you can see Cook like go into the interview and talk about it a little bit, he tries to like look. I mean, I know he has no expression naturally, but he's trying to look upset, and even that doesn't look natural for him. He's like, and then they're like, when he signs the contract, they're like, oh, go ahead and pose. Like you could smile, you could do it. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and put my shades on, and it was just so like it was just the most awkward thing. So, but that money, I'm glad he got it, because now, like you said, we have Cook, and then so obviously he takes the 1 spot. So now that would make Ray number 2, or would it
Ty
or
3.
Ty 3?
I think
And then
Ray's
Gore
2
back
and
to the
Ty's going to
practice
be
squad?
3.
Yeah.
So you think Gore goes back to the practice squad, or does Gore?
Mhm.
That's because I don't think
Well,
we're keeping 4.
No, I honestly I think it's going to be a challenge for that whole between the 3 of them. It's going to be a battle all the way through the final preseason game, because Gore had a hell of a game, last weekend. So you can't count him out. Obviously Ray gave us, the emergency kicker aspect, in case we ever do need him. He's proven he can kick a field goal. So
Right.
that's kind of, just adding to his repertoire that he has, adding tools to the toolbox, which makes him more valuable. But I think it's literally going to be up until the last game before we really know, one, how many we're going to keep on the roster and who we are going to keep on the roster.
Right.
Um,
It's like you said, it makes us that much more better for a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now you don't have to sit there all season worrying about it.
I got a
My bad. Go ahead.
quick thing to put on here. So this is another thing where Brandon Beane did this pretty much after dark and midnight. When do we start calling Brandon Beane Batman, who seems to only work at night? Like,
Right. This one, there was like no, there was no leak or anything, like no idea that it was coming out.
Mm-mm. No, I
I
didn't get
didn't
leaked
know
until
the
this
group
morning.
chat thing when Jared shared. I was like, what? No way. And I looked, I was like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
think about it. He even signed like Joey Bosa in the middle of the night.
Right.
So
That's
seems to be what.
so, right. Was it all set up like they sat there, and as soon as the Hard Knocks thing ended, like, all right, man, let's go ahead, because it started at 9, ends at 10. So in between 10 and 11, by the time 11 rolled around and the T's were crossed and I's were dotted, and that 11
There you
o'clock
go.
hit, See,
Doug Augie, Brandon
Oh.
Wayne.
You heard it here first on VWO Conspiracy Theory. No.
Again, Corey, Doug Augie, Brandon Wayne,
Brandon Wayne.
Bruce's brother.
Right. They had to wait man, because it was really midnight over there. So the transfer of money came in.
I mean,
look,
I ain't gonna lie. Like being a wrestling fan that we all are, we've all seen the behind the scenes that happens, at the Gorilla. And Bean was just at the Gorilla last night.
Yeah,
right.
This could have been, a whole thing for Hard Knocks, because again, the Buffalo Bills do not have a lot of drama as opposed to other teams. So how do you sell and get people to watch that aren't Bills fans?
well, and realistically,
Drama.
You've also seen the way Cook has looked in the mini camps and the practices before Hard Knocks showed up. They say he looks fantastic. And then, look, I'm not going to lie. I don't care if he went out there and said that he wanted to play in the first preseason game. He wasn't playing in the first preseason game.
Right.
So to think that this was all just for some of this was real, but I'm sure they used some of this as part of the thing with Hard Knocks. Just again, they are running a TV show. You got to get it to where people are going to tune in. I understand that, but and again, we're not saying one way or another, but it does kind of look that way.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Hold on. Share that comment from Kyle Wallace. Is he talking about Walker?
I don't know.
Rookie D line. Isn't that
that Davion Walker or whatever?
Yeah. Are you talking about
Walker? Deion Walker.
Yeah. You're talking about the one that we drafted, Kyle, or one we might have just picked up yesterday or something? If it was one we just picked up, I didn't hear about that. But
yeah, I haven't
if he's
heard
talking about
either.
that guy that's like 6'9" or something, like 400 pounds. Yeah.
There's that Deion Walker guy.
Yeah. That guy. I was gonna say he's a monster.
Yeah, that guy's going to be like pumping the brakes a little bit this year on him just because he's a rookie. But man, once he gets everything going and he's figured it all out, that guy's going to be a monster for other teams to have to stop.
If we had the money to just going to the training camps and seeing it, and then watching that game the other day, if we had the money to afford it and could keep all those D linemen, we could potentially have 2 starting D linemen or 2 starting D lines that you could just cycle through. And oh my gosh, man, could you imagine?
Well,
awesome.
That's
and then all these young guys are stepping up too. Like, I mean, I know it's
Mm-hmm.
just training camp and it's just like, that month. Yeah. And it's just training camp and it's preseason. But like we were talking about today in the gun, I was like, who's going to take that 5th receiver slot now? I was like, because Hamler looked great during that game the other day. And I was like, but then you still have, what's his name from last year that's around?
Curtis Samuel.
And them. So in Shavers, because it's got to be Coleman, Shakir, Palmer, and Moore for the first 4, right? You would think.
You would think Moore's been having some troubles though, from what I'm seeing. So,
I mean, I can see Moore being a guy that doesn't make the roster simply because he's only got the 1-year deal. I mean, right. Coleman, you drafted. He's pretty much making the team. They're not going to get rid of him after only 1 year. Shakir, you just re-signed to a multi-year deal. He's not going anywhere. You brought Josh Palmer in on a 2-year deal. He's probably not going anywhere, signing him like that. So, I mean, you're probably looking at Curtis Samuel or Elijah Morris, probably one of the 2 guys probably out the door.
Because when you watch that game, Hamler looked good. He had a few deep balls, a touchdown.
But again, and this is where obviously being like a coach and everything, being on the sidelines and seeing these things, a lot of those plays were not against first teamers either. So they got to get some first team reps in against first team defenses. And that's what these next 2 games are going to be. They're probably going to cycle in more of these receivers in with our first team minus Allen.
Right.
But at least getting them out there against these first team defenses to see what they can actually do. Because, yeah, if you can do that against a second, third string, that's great. But can you do that against a first string? That's the whole question
Well,
that has to be answered in the next few games.
and looking at some of these wide receivers, look, and I'm not calling any of the guys that we have the Jamar Chase level, but think of it this way: Jamar Chase's rookie season in the preseason, he couldn't catch anything, and people are, oh man, this guy's good. Then he goes into the season and absolutely lights it up. So it's a perfect example of where sure you like what you see in the preseason, but don't hold everything to what you see in the preseason because again,
Right.
these guys are McDermott and the coordinators are holding a lot back too. You're not getting the full play. And we said it last year. I don't think we won a preseason game last year, and there were some of them that looked really bad. And then we hit the regular season. It's like, well, this isn't the team we saw in the preseason.
Right.
So,
During training camp, the backup quarterback, I thought Mike White had that more locked up than Mitch Trubisky. And then all of a sudden they go out there, and I know they both started off slow, but then Mitch goes out there and just starts dropping dimes. I was like, hold on, who the fuck is this guy? Like, where did this come from?
Mitch showed glimpses of why he was drafted as
Right.
high as he was to the Bears. And he's done that his entire career. He's shown glimpses here and there. He's just never done it consistently. But yeah,
What do you think about the backup quarterback spot?
Mitch is the lose.
Yep. Again, it's going to be, determined. I'm going to say, after the final preseason game, it's just going to be up in there. Like I think next week this week for game 2, Mike White will start, and
Right, they'll
Trubisky they'll flip it, and then the third week they're going to see who they need to see more out there with that first team to make that determination, but they're going to flip it this week. It's, kind of like what they tend to do with those, because we usually only carry like, on a, like coming into preseason, I mean, this year we got 4 quarterbacks.
Right.
But the real, I guess, question is is it going to be White or Trubisky? The other guy isn't a real concern. So
right. I think we should just drop him completely. Like we've said it. I think Pat said it. Just like I'm over the name guys. Like Bushell, he's a good dude. He like they even said in Hard Knocks, like he knows he's very smart. Like Allen and them were like he's probably smarter than me. Blah blah blah. Like the dude is smart, but sorry man. Like you're 5'6", you're not doing anything. Like I don't want to waste a roster spot on you when we can give it to somebody else.
Maybe you become a QB coach.
Right. Something.
If you're that smart,
Right.
The fluty years are over.
Let's call it what it is. Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott are going to have they're going to have their hands full this year trying to come up with this roster because, and as I've been saying the last couple of weeks, even to fans and comments on Facebook or YouTube, like we all have to prepare ourselves for probably some significant names to be on the list of roster cuts before the start of the season. And hey, that's the perks of having a good team.
Right.
So there may be 1 or 2 fan favorites on that list. And I don't want to see, I mean,
right. I love the guy.
Yeah.
You died on the field. Okay. I get it. Your story's
great story.
Sad. You led in tackles last year for a little bit, this and that. You're not a bad guy. Like you're a decent backup, but we got a couple players ahead of you that are better, man. I'm sorry. You got to go. And like Pat said it a million times, we got to get rid of this. And I do it as a fan. We have to get rid of this mentality. Oh, they've been around. They're a name player. I'm sorry. If you're not performing, you got to go. I'm ready for a Super Bowl. I'm ready to be that team. And there's some like Allen, like everybody says, is more locked in this year. But besides that, there's something else you can see in the training camps and then the hard knock stuff. Is McDermott seems like a little more, not like dickhead, but like a little more locked in, like more aggressive than I've seen him in past years. like at training camp, that's the first time I've ever heard him say, yo, you got to go out there, be aggressive, hit each other, obviously clean without hurting each other, but I want to see some hits. Like, let's go. And then just the one yesterday, the same thing about like the position battles and things like that. He was like so aggressive out there and like telling them like to hit harder. The thing with Joe Andreessen with Buffalo Joe, the same thing, like how they like, dude, you're nice. You can't be nice on the field. Like you have to, like you're a linebacker, dude. You have to rip heads off. Like and to hear Sean McDermott, I think him and Allen are realizing that, especially McDermott, because Allen's locked in. Yeah. You could lose every game this year, and I'm sorry, Allen will be there next year. But McDermott knows, like, even though he's a great coach, and I know Swank and Scott and Jared are probably gonna bust my balls for saying this, but one thing I did agree with Rob Mullen on, and I can't believe I'm saying this, is if McDermott doesn't win the Super Bowl soon or get to it soon, and like you said, I don't want him to go, but it goes right along with what Pat and you guys just said, Spartan. That's another name that, hey, man, you're a name, but you got to go, man. It's not Bean. Bean's doing what he's got to do. He's paying the players. He's bringing in the players. Allen's doing what he's got to do. Proved it last year, doing it with no-name receivers and this and that. Everybody eats. So something's got to give. And the next name on the thing is you, Sean. And I'm sorry, I don't want it to be. And I think that's why he's being more aggressive.
He realized,
and I love it.
Put up or shut up.
Right. And I, like you said, I think that's why he's doing that. And I think, oh man, I haven't said it yet, but I think that's why it feels different this year so much. Like they realize you got to do it.
So here's my take on all that. Well, it's more of a question, more so than a statement. But I was going to ask, I was going to have a question for you guys. Do you think that McDermott's on the hot seat this year? And like my take on it is yes, because you've shown that you've gotten us to the playoffs, but we haven't taken that next leap. We've gone to the playoffs, and won AFC East 5 years in a row. But you can't get us past the AFC Championship.
Can't even get us the 1 seed.
Yeah. All right. So like what do we need to do? Do we have to move on from you? Again, I don't want to. I trust the process. However, you can only trust the process as far as the process will take you. Right. So now it's time to take the next evolutionary step, which would be onward and upward. And sometimes that's away from, faces and people that we've grown to love here in Western New York.
So my answer to your question on that is going to be, I mean, we all know the expectations for this team is Super Bowl or bust. And we don't say that and saying anything because we know the talent on this team. We know this team is capable of doing this. That's why we say that. We're not saying that we're giving up on the team if they don't get to the Super Bowl. But I think him being on the hot seat all depends on how the exit. If we have to lose, if we lose in the playoffs again, it's going to be how it happens. If we go into another playoff game and Josh Allen just goes to town and we still lose the game because the defense doesn't do its job, absolutely Sean McDermott's probably out. However, if it's a dogfight game and it just comes down to the other team just happen to have the ball last and we just happen to, lose, I don't think he's out the door for that reason. But you can't have Josh Allen going out there and being your saving grace. And again, we all watched it with the Rams game during the season last year. Josh Allen statistically had probably the best game out of any quarterback in the history of the NFL, and he lost. So that number one, that can't happen again. And two, you can't have that kind of a loss in the playoffs again.
Right.
So
they put up a perfect game. The only ever perfect game in the NFL. And you can't. Or you sell insurance like Jake Fromm.
Jake from State Farm.
I forgot about that guy.
Well, so I totally agree with that. Like, I was on a podcast with some Bears fans that I know yesterday, and they asked me what was my most painful moment in the modern era, and it was the 13-second game. Like, we battled back and forth because our defense couldn't stop shit. Like, I mean,
Clearly,
defense
13
is what's killing us.
75 yards down the field.
Yeah, like our defense, come clutch time, underperforms all the time. But Allen continues to keep us in games, and we know that defense has been our problem for a couple of years, and we've been slowly getting better. Bringing more people in during the draft on, just off-season acquisitions. So it's good to see that. However, now we need to see it actually on the field manifest itself. So hopefully this year. What's that?
Right.
And Bean addressed the defense this year.
Yeah, that I mean, this was I was a firm believer for many years, because we've seen it in the past that every time we draft, it's been defensive heavy, and we got Allen, who we're paying all this money. We needed to build a lineup because I always use the scenario, like, so if you have a Ferrari, are you going to get the general insurance, or are you going to get top of the line insurance for it?
Wait, the general isn't top of the line?
Yeah, no.
Oh, son of a bitch. Hey, I'll be right back.
General or
I thought because he was an Army guy, man, you could trust him, right?
Shaq was on there. Shaq said he was good. No, but same thing. So you have Allen, and we didn't have a solid line. So we ended up getting a solid line, after a couple of years. And then we went back to the defense, and I wasn't mad because now Allen had protection, but for years we had gone through so many quarterbacks because our offensive line sucked. So now I was like, I'm kind of happy we're addressing the defense because that's where our need is now. And I'm glad that, like, I'm not the only one seeing all this shit, because for years I'm like, dude, our offensive line sucks. This is why we can't keep a quarterback. They keep getting fucking injured. Or, they're getting hit so hard that they don't want to stand in the pocket.
Right.
We finally started drafting and acquiring offensive linemen that protected Allen. So I was happy. Okay, let's go back to defense because that's where it needs it. And they went that way. So, I didn't feel like an armchair GM thinking all this stuff that wasn't really true. It was true.
Well, and that's, like I said, that's why I say he is on the hot seat, but he's not, and it's all going to depend on how everything ends up going.
Right.
You were brought in as a defensive coach because defense is supposed to be your bread and butter. And yet every year it's the defense that seems to let us down. And it's like, you can't be a defensive minded coach. And that's the thing that's killing us every year.
Mm-hmm.
And again, our defense, I'll say it right now. Our defense was Heckle and Heckle and whatever his name is.
Mr. Hyde.
Last year. Because in the beginning of the year, they were getting turnovers. They were doing their job, and it looked good. And then for some reason, it's like halfway through the season, it flipped to where they just couldn't do anything. They couldn't stop anybody. And again, that's one of the reasons why we were having to put up almost 50 points against the Rams, the Lions. I mean, thank God the Ravens decided not to play Derrick Henry in that playoff game because I'm pretty sure he would have killed us.
Mm-hmm.
And we wouldn't even have gotten the AFC title game.
To me, that was the most confusing thing I'd ever seen on a field, besides not giving Marshawn Lynch the ball.
Right.
In that Seattle Super Bowl. Like, probably the two most confusing games I've ever watched. Like, you have Derrick Henry and they didn't run. Right. I'm glad they didn't. But it confused the shit out of me as to why they weren't running him.
Yeah.
Right.
And you looked at the
Even
Ravens.
when the world expected it.
Yes.
He's making that 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
It's fucking Marshawn Lynch, dude. He could still do it today, I guarantee it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, it's the one worry I have about week one playing the Ravens. I'm not really worried about Lamar. I'm not worried about the Ravens defense. I'm worried about Derrick Henry because that guy seems to have the Bills' number. No matter, as long as they use him, he's going to run all over us because he has every time.
And I'll tell you
And-
this: the game that we just had this past weekend, Bosa was stopping the run, and I was so thankful that he was
Right.
stuffing that. He was closing them holes. Making it so that way they didn't have a lane to run in. Like
I know, but it's different
Bosa
when you
was
have a
back.
guy like Derrick Henry that's the same size as Joey Bosa running at you. I
But
mean,
now we have a lot of guys that size on defense. So.
Yeah.
right, and I'm hoping that
And it is a fresh Derrick Henry too, though. So it's first game of the year, which I do not
Right,
like you're saying,
again-
Pat. He's not beat up.
this isn't me saying that we can't finally stop him. It's just my expectation is the same as it should be. This guy's the problem for us to try to figure out. Otherwise,
Cook better match that fucker run for run with that new money now.
Cook's not built like that, though.
So here's my take on what you just said,
His
Pat.
bank account is built like that now, motherfucker.
Maybe, but his body isn't.
Right.
So here's my take on what you just said, Pat. So we have to figure out how to play Derrick Henry. So every other team in the league has to figure out how to play Josh Allen.
Correct.
So they're all in the same scenario that we are. It's just obviously Derrick Henry, and you have Lamar now, which
I'm not
adds
worried about
to
Lamar.
it. So, well, you kind of have to if you're worrying
I was gonna
about
say.
Derrick Henry. You can't have one and not pay attention to the other, because then the other
battle
one's
of
going
the
to run all over you.
MVPs.
We've beaten the Ravens when we make Lamar have to be a quarterback. So
Right. If you keep Lamar in the pocket, that's what I feel. He's better when he's running around. If you can contain him, it's like he overthinks a little bit.
But there's that whole thing where now you're playing to Lamar, you're not playing to Derrick
Right.
Henry. So again, you can't.
We got so many big guys this year,
Yeah.
bro. We don't need.
You have
play
to balance
Derrick
that
Henry.
out as a coach as to how you're going to do it. And I'm glad I'm not in that position to make that call. So
look, I hope, again, as a Bills fan, I'm hoping they do stop him. But I'm also a realistic fan that understands that, like this is a guy that has been a Bills killer. He was even a Bills killer when he played for Tennessee, and they had nothing other than him.
Right.
I mean,
So-
I'm counting 2 losses this year. I'm counting 2 losses. Baltimore, Philadelphia. That's
And
it.
that's the thing. I've never been a person that's ever been like totally upset if we happen to lose a week 1 game. It's week 1.
Right.
But-
We're all stuck on the story of Kansas City coming to Buffalo to finish the story. Bring Kansas City for the playoff. We get first place in Buffalo. But let's be honest, this game here, week 1, could honestly be the matchup to go to the Super Bowl in Buffalo or Baltimore. Because I don't honestly see Kansas City. I think Kansas City is going to be the 3 seed. I think it goes Buffalo, Baltimore, or Baltimore, Buffalo.
I'll
And
be
the
honest
KC
with
is
you,
3,
I can
so.
see Kansas City not even winning their division.
Right. That's what I'm saying. We're all like, oh, we want Kansas City to come to Buffalo. That way we can prove that we can beat them. Kansas City might, we're not GMs. We don't know. This is just the way I'm taking it from what I'm seeing. It could be Buffalo and Baltimore in Buffalo or Baltimore or wherever.
This game right here could honestly have implications on the number 1 as well, because if we go in there tied, whoever wins this game has the number 1 seed. So
I agree. There's stuff on
week
the
1's
line.
going to have huge implications later on in the year.
But the nice thing is, you said, if this is one of the 2 games that we lose, we just lost to a good team in week 1, where you got that out of the way. So now you have the whole rest of the season of where you pretty much have, and there's always going to be that one team that we're underestimating that's just going to come out of nowhere and be good.
Right.
And again, that's why I think the Bills have 3 losses this year, because let's be honest, we always have that one game every year where we end up playing a team where we should just mop the floor with them, but somehow just look flat.
Are you talking about Jacksonville every time we play them in London?
Yeah.
Every single time, dude.
I wake up early. I make breakfast for everyone.
Right.
Everybody comes over.
12, dude, and they beat us, man.
Or, for example, last year, the Houston Texans game, we could have. There was no reason we should have lost that game.
Right. I'm
We
glad you
just
brought that point up, Pat, because I watch all these Bills fans week one, like you said, if we lose to a good team that's going to be around in the playoffs this year, watch how many Bills fans at 0-1 would be like, it's over.
they're gonna do that every loss.
Right, right. Like you said, if it was a Jacksonville or something week one, sure, I would be like, what the fuck? But
Yeah.
I mean, now if we get blown the fuck out, I'd be like, oh my god. But yeah, if it
Well,
comes down to it and you lose by a field goal, don't
at the
get
end of the day,
discouraged.
we just can't do what we did in the regular season last year against Baltimore. But you can't go down 21-0 and then expect to beat them because now they're just going to maintain, and you're trying to play catch up against a guy like Derrick Henry and the running style of Lamar. That's not going to happen.
Right.
So, but
So, what do you guys think? Switch over to the defense now. What do you think about like we said, the cornerback situation with Trey White? He has been looking young again, and obviously with the Harrison injury, I saw a thing today that he might be on IR for the first game or two. And White looks like the Trey White of old again, kind of. And he's even in that game the other day. Like you said, it's not like he's playing the first string offense, or maybe they were for a little bit, but
let's
he could
address
potentially be starter.
let's address the Harrison or Maxwell Harrison thing. If he starts the season on IR, it's automatically 4 games that he's out for.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Which again, if Trey White is looking like
Right.
the old Trey White, you know what? I might be okay with it because then the main reason we have Maxwell is to keep up with guys like Jamar Chase and Tyreek Hill and obviously Kansas City's Xavier Worthy. He'll be back by then for all of those guys. So if it means I'm okay with him going on the IR if it means having him through the rest of the season.
Right.
I don't want to rush the kid back.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to make this worse.
You give him those 4 games, and then we have a bye week. What, week 7?
Correct.
So you give him 4 off, and then he plays 2, and then he's got a bye.
Correct.
So I like that.
So here's my question to you guys on that. So obviously we saw Trey White. Obviously he looks great in zone, but he's lost a step in man. Does that mean if Maxwell Harrison's on IR for 4 weeks, are we running zone with Trey White in there so he doesn't get burned one-on-one?
Well, I don't think it's going to matter if Maxwell is there or on IR. I think the plan, and I almost can see it, I think the Bills are going to utilize this year kind of what the Eagles did in the Super Bowl. We're just going to rush our front 4 at you and hope we get the quarterback on the ground. Because once we get you on the ground, we don't got to worry about what's happening behind us.
Right.
So
if on paper the D line is as big and as bad as they say, like you said, we might not have to do a lot of blitzes this year with backs and linebackers and stuff. But I mean, even if we do, we have that. So I think, like you said, with Derrick Henry and Lamar, you kind of have to play a little bit more zone. As much as I'm not a zone guy, I think you almost have to try to keep a few guys in the middle in case they try to run or take off or do something. So I think the first couple games, like you said, with Trey White, I think you would see zone more. And then when Maxwell comes back, it'll be like an on and off thing, whether it's a whole team or whether it's like plays like Trey will go out for the zone coverages and Maxwell will go out for the one-on-ones, like try to utilize them both a little bit. And then I think the more the season goes on, you'll see Maxwell out there permanently.
Yeah.
Or will you see a modified zone?
Probably
where Harrison comes back and Harrison plays man, but then you got, like a cover 3 or something.
We could put Trey White at safety. Like if it came down to it, I feel like he could play a decent safety.
Well, plus the other thing that's, we still don't know what he's going to do or not, but let's say they do put Maxwell Harrison on IR. That's going to free up a roster spot for at least 4 weeks. And then after that, you're going to have to figure out what to do. But maybe you do call Rasul Douglas and bring him back. I mean, it wouldn't
I
hurt.
can't believe no one signed him yet. Him and Amari
Mhm.
Cooper both are the two of the guys I can't believe no one's picked up.
Yeah, I have a feeling
a lot
more
of
so
talent out there.
I have a feeling those two are holding out for certain teams to call them.
Right.
You know, they're not
Was it Rasul that said he wouldn't play for Miami?
correct.
Yeah. You see,
Oh,
what's his
they
big
think with
ass?
Jordan Poyer.
Jordan Poyer, yeah, look at that. I don't want a Miami jersey either. Yeah, dude, you left and went to Miami, one for money, which I don't hate.
Yeah.
Whatever, I get it. Your wife ran her mouth too. Fuck her. But
You
left Buffalo because Diggs was out. So many people were out. All the analysts were saying it was over. Blah, 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 blah. So you really thought in the back of your mind, like, all right, Buffalo's going to go downhill, and they didn't. And now you want back in, man. As much as you helped build it, I'm sorry, dude. You go
He's
fuck
like,
yourself.
he's like, I want to sign a deal and retire a bill, and I'm like,
Yeah,
But,
no.
but you got to remember, it wasn't Poyer's decision to leave. He was
Right.
a cap casualty
Right.
because
That's why I
we
said
had
it
a
was
mess.
money.
So, you know, and that gave him the opportunity to please his wife to go down to Miami. But I think he realized when he was there, wow, this was a dumpster fire and this was a bad decision.
And then did you see that video? They talked about it. They were like, oh, well, the one guy was like, I hate it. He's like, the Miami fan, he's like, fuck Poyer, because he was a shoo-in for the Bills. He was a Benedict Arnold. And then they were showing some plays where it almost kind of looked, he like chop
the
blocked
cheap
his own
shot.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
dude,
cheap shot on our guy.
like,
He was like, you
yeah,
cost us the game.
right. He did that, and then he ended up chop blocking his own guy. Like looked like he was trying to tackle the guy, and then hit his own dude. And I was like, oh, maybe he.
And that knocked him out for a couple games.
I mean, it's the same guy that on Saturday Saturday was bashing the Bills because they lost the preseason game to the Giants. Like,
yeah,
dude, we lost the meaningless game. We're evaluating talent. We weren't trying to win the game. Trust me.
I promise you, we could have put in nobody and put Allen in, and we're winning that game 42-10.
We would have walked all over the Giants.
Right. Get the fuck out of here.
Again, if that happened during the regular season, fine. You have something to talk to us about.
You had Mitch Trubisky and Mike White playing with the backup receivers.
Week 1, and you're already writing the Bills off because they lost the preseason week 1 game to the Giants. Okay, buddy.
Well, he is definitely not the smartest Dolphins fan in the world. He's probably the most annoying, who doesn't actually know anything about football. Like I watch him to laugh at him because of how ridiculous he sounds.
Yeah.
Because he thinks that Tua's almighty. Tua's one concussion away from being an analyst on the sidelines.
Right.
Tua's one concussion away from not being an analyst because I don't think he's gonna have a brain at that point.
Yeah, he won't be able to talk. He'll be like, we'll take it back to you, Jim.
We'll have the very first sign language analyst.
Yeah, he's going to be a vegetable. But he thinks that, Tua's going to take him to the promised land.
I mean, look, we can joke all we want, but I'll say it right now. I don't want to see Tua's career end like that.
I don't, and I wish, like, as a former football player, like, I get where he wanted to play, but there's a point in time where you have to have a serious heart-to-heart with yourself and realize you can't do this anymore.
I mean, we've seen other guys have multiple concussions, but to me, it's not, when it comes to him, it's not the amount of concussions, it's the type. He's getting hit, so his head's hitting so hard that his hands are doing the gang sign stuff because he's out cold.
Well, he's got what, 4 or 5 that were actually called. Like when he played us, they didn't call that a concussion. That dude was throwing crip signs up,
right,
on the ground. Like that dude was concussed.
Yeah,
like he got up, he was throwing crip signs, got up, took like 2 steps, and went back down. Concussion. I'm sorry.
Right.
I don't. It doesn't take a doctor to figure that shit out.
What did they say? It stopped flow or whatever to that nerve for a few seconds, and that's why your body just starts convulsing, and you can't.
Yeah.
You could tell, like it wasn't a maybe. He was literally, like he said, I'm not being.
Throwing crip signs up.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't think it matters the amount of it's the type of concussions he's getting.
Yeah.
And like your brain can only be reset so many times before now it's like, listen, now your brain can't reset.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think there should have been talks with him and his family about retire. Now, granted, I respect the fact that it's his decision. You know, it's the same thing when Andrew Luck just up and retired. Everybody was so mad that he did. I'm like, it's his choice to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with what he's doing. If he's not happy with what he's doing because he's like, I'm tired of being in pain all the time. Yeah, walk away.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, look at how many, I mean, recently there have been 28-year-olds that have retired from football.
well,
because they're like, you know what, I'm done. I can't take this abuse on my body for an extended period of time any longer.
What's his name from the Seahawks? Who's that?
He's like
that
28 years
receiver
old,
kid.
right?
Right, and every time he catches the ball, like he'll run if it's open for a little, and then he just slides and goes right down because he knows he got hit that one time and hurt, and now he just slides every time and goes down because he knows not to, like, it's not worth it, man.
Put it in a realm where the Bills fans can understand. If Damar Hamlin after that Cincinnati Bengals game came out and said, "I'm done, I'm retiring, I'm not playing football," we all would have understood. There wouldn't have been one person who would have been like, "Yeah, man." Now we're glad he was able to keep going, and we're glad this hasn't affected him to the point of where he can't play. Like we've seen it with Trent Edwards. Trent Edwards looked good as a quarterback. He got one concussion, and that was it. He was too damn scared to get hit again.
Or look at Kevin Everett. Kevin Everett was paralyzed on the field.
Kevin Everett didn't have a choice but to retire.
No. But what I'm saying, so he actually came back to walk off the field.
Correct.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like to me, like he knows his career's done. He's never coming back. But he was like, you know what? I want to walk off the field. That is great.
Guys,
Tua's not going to have that option.
Antonio Brown, right?
Yeah, Tua's not going to have
the
that
next
option.
Antonio Brown, dude, and lose his mind and just start being
CTE.
Remember Antonio Brown before he got all them concussions?
Yeah.
He was like the nicest, always complimenting other team players, and he's always like, "Oh, it's not me, it's this."
He wasn't, but
right. Then got passed and was like, "Nah, it's all me, man."
No, again, I don't see it being that situation. I just see Tua, like Spartan said, Tua is going to be carted off the field.
Oh yeah,
probably
or
in a wheelchair
off the field.
Yeah, that's it. When you get the one concussion where you got to be stretchered into an ambulance, that's it. You're done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, and now
they have 3 of them now.
I understand
He's
that
got
this
like 5.
I would understand this would create some controversy, and I get it. Some Bills fans will probably be mad, but I wouldn't have a problem if the NFL all of a sudden put a rule in saying if you get a concussion, you're out for the next game, regardless of if you pass protocol
That's
or
what
not.
it's supposed to be. Oh,
Well,
if
you pass protocol
yeah.
before the next game, you can play.
Right.
I don't think there should even be an option for you to play the next game. I think you need to sit a week.
If there was any question about it, yep, you're done.
If they confirmed you had a concussion, you're out for the next week.
Because it would have affected us too. Because what was it last year, the year before? Allen got cracked. Remember?
Oh yeah,
he was on the sideline, and all of a sudden you could see it. They hit him with them smelling salts, and all of a sudden he was like out 1 or 2 plays, and he was boom. All right, let's go.
Yeah, but you could see that after the hit. I don't care what anybody says. He was out cold.
Oh yeah.
Like, and they're like, "Oh no, it's just his hand injury. Hand injury isn't going to knock you out. Sorry."
Right.
I mean, think about it.
His hand.
Think about it. What the past 2 years, Allen has played through the playoffs with some type of an injury.
Yeah,
at least
like
half
how
the
crazy
season
is that?
something.
Yeah,
last
like
year
how
I think
crazy
it was
is that?
Week 4 or 5 when he got the wrist.
The hand.
No, he got that week 1.
Yeah, week 1, he went into the end zone and got hit in the helmet.
Yep, that's right.
The only saving grace was his non-throwing hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of these days, one of these players is going to go off the field, and it's not going to be a good thing for the NFL.
No.
You know, because they keep letting these players come back. I think like they ought to have a stipulation that if you have X amount of concussions in a year, that's it. Like that's You know,
Well,
it's just like any other employer. You know what I mean? Like you're protecting yourself in there as well,
Yep.
because if something, God forbid, does happen to Tua, and he's had a history, like he had like 3 in that 1 year,
Right.
and that was confirmed 3. You know, again, the Bills one would have been 4. Like the NFL is going to have a lot of backlash on that, and you know they don't need that. But again,
that's why
we're digressing from the Bills and going into everywhere else. Let's go back to Bills. Come on now, guys. This is Bills, man. I hate talking about the other teams, man. Our name ain't Rob.
don't stroke out on us.
You got it, Dan.
Yes, sir, Lieutenant Dan. No problem.
Buffalo Spar Dan.
Yeah, Spartan. Yep.
Oh,
but
shit.
yeah. So going into this next game, what are you guys looking to see? Like what positions are you guys looking at?
I still think it's the same. You're still looking at the backup quarterback spot, and I'm hoping we can get a couple more safeties on the field because I know we went. Some of them didn't play last week because of injuries, so hopefully we can get a couple more out there to see. And then obviously we're gonna have to figure out who's the number 2 and 3 running back, and obviously one of the 3 between Johnson, Davis, and Gore is probably not making the roster. Gore would probably be the easier choice, and just because you could put him on the practice squad again. And then I'm hoping again. I have a feeling we're going to see probably Josh Allen start the preseason game, but no more than one drive.
He's got to get field time.
Yeah. I think I'm looking forward to like all the ones like Pat said, but also that linebacker spot, man, because Buffalo Joe has been tearing it up, like looking very good. And then Landon Jackson has, but then that preseason game,
Corey,
he gave up a couple plays. You trying to go 0-2, man? Oh,
hey, you won on that deal.
I honestly think they'll keep him around this year, and then it'll be next year, or midway through the season or something. They'll drop him or trade him out for someone on the practice squad. But, yeah, I'm excited for the linebacker spot. Because like I said, Landon Jackson's been looking great, but then he was looking kind of off, and he had some great plays in the game the other day, and then he gave up a couple good plays. So that, and like I said, Buffalo Joe, Matt Milano. So that's a great battle there. And then the D line as well, because the 2 guys are out for 6 games still. I keep forgetting about that. So they'll be back. I'm ready for an actual game. I'm ready for week 1 kickoff.
No, I'm looking forward to the tight end battle. Obviously, we still have a ton of tight ends. Davidson's having glimpses here and there, but then again, he's looking like crap in other ones. So
who was that one kid that had the deep catch? Wasn't he the tight end?
Hawes?
One of them, yeah, they had like a huge bomb catch down the sideline, like right in front of Allen and Knox and stuff, and they went crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to see who's going to come out on that one, because obviously we're looking at Knox and Kincaid 1 and 2. Kind of been a theme for the past few years now. But they, who else are we going to carry in that spot? I think right now we got like 5 or 6 tight ends. When we cut down to 53, we're definitely not having that. So
I think Hawes has to be one of them because he has that. I think he should be 3 because then that gives you Kincaid as the receiving style tight end. Knox is like the big, the big beast blocker guy. Well, Hawes is like the blocker guy, I guess. I guess that's what he did. And then Knox is just that like one-on-one powerhouse dude.
Well, if you run Knox and Hawes, you can do double tight.
Dude, ooh.
Knox can be that hybrid tight end where he can catch and block.
Yeah, and if you ran him at double tight, are you running or are you passing?
Could you put Kincaid at a receiver spot, and then Knox at the tight end, and then Hawes at the 3 fucking tight ends. Dude.
We've
Yeah,
seen it
but do you
before.
want to take a receiver off the field for that though? Because now
I
you're
mean, but
taking
if
2
you-
receivers off.
But if it's a run play, though, I mean, now you got fucking your linemen plus Knox, Hawes, and Kincaid. That's
Well, you saw
another
it
3 almost linemen.
I saw it a couple of years ago when Knox caught the one ball and then plowed through the one Bengals player.
Right.
So
Plus, Allen's always running up there, trucking dudes trying to block. So, I mean, potentially you just added, besides your other receiver, like you got 9, 10 big lineman style dudes out there, man. Like, oh shit. Yo, let me get
The
a
other thing-
playbook, man. Let me call
the other
it
thing
back.
I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit more of now, I know this will probably be the last preseason game we see it, but I want to see more Ray Davis kicking field goals.
Yeah.
I don't even care if
Even
it's
though we
third.
signed that other kicker, they still let him do it.
Why not?
Right.
Well, you know, honestly, I think this is why. So we signed the other guy because we don't know what's going on with Bass's, groin injury or whatever he's got. So they could always, to keep a roster spot available, keep Ray Davis as the emergency kicker.
Yeah.
And then they can get rid of that other kicker until Bass comes back. Or if something happens to Bass, we have somebody who can emergency kick where we don't have to carry 2 kickers. We can have a punter and a kicker like we normally
So
do.
wait. If you slotted Ray Davis as a kicker,
Then you'd have to get rid of Bass because we're not carrying 2 kickers.
well, no, hold on.
Well, you're not getting
we
rid
be
of
the first-
Bass by putting
Could
Ray
we be
Davis
the first?
spot. I'm
Could we
sorry.
be the first ever NFL team with a slotted backup kicker? Maybe like, could we have 2 kickers? Hold on, hear me out. Put Ray Davis as the kicker, right? Then that frees up that you can keep Gore because now you can have Cook, Cook, Johnson, and Gore as your 3 receivers.
Corey, smoke's coming out of your ears again.
Well, you
Yeah.
still got I know you still got as your kicker Ray Davis. Or see what I'm saying? Ty
But where's
Johnson.
Bass going on the 53 man? You see what I'm saying? You're losing a roster spot by doing
Nah,
it like
fuck
that.
No, man, figure out your groin, dude. Right,
Yeah.
figure out your groin, homie.
Well, and again, every team has their so-called emergency kicker. We all just don't know who they are. And honestly, up until now, I didn't even know who ours was until all of a sudden they put Ray Davis kicking. And like I said,
Oh, we knew at the return of blue and red, right, Corey?
Oh yeah,
Right.
dude. I was like, holy shit, he made that.
Yeah, we saw him there.
even if it turns out that this is just something they're doing for the preseason, dude, it's fun to watch. It's cool to see. It doesn't hurt anybody. I say let him do it. But again,
Hold on, knock on wood, because if he gets hurt doing a kick now, he pulls his groin.
I will tell you this. I was shocked when McDermott let him do it in the preseason game.
Yeah.
It's cool in practice, but for him to actually go, hey, Ray, you're going out and kick, like, I was shocked at that one. So I think,
especially after we
just
signed
like
that
what you
kid.
guys were all saying, is that McDermott realizes that this is a shit or get off the pot season, and he needs to figure out something. And if that means pulling the proverbial rabbit out of the bag, then he needs to figure out how to pull some rabbits out.
Yeah.
yeah, but like I said, it's the same thing as when they had the play in Miami a couple years ago where they let Kyle Williams run a touchdown in.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something fun that they're doing. They're meaning, and as far as I said, you know what, it's meaningless games, but it also shows that yes, McDermott is taking this year very seriously, but it also shows a side that hey, I'm still happy having fun. And let's be honest, we have all seen Josh Allen. When Josh Allen is smiling on the sidelines, having fun during a game, Josh Allen is dangerous.
Oh yeah.
So
when he's stoic, then we got issues because he ain't playing well.
Right. So I like the keeping the atmosphere fun while being serious at the same time. You know, it's a nice little thing. And like I said, do it one more time in this week's preseason game, but after that, cut it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because game 3 needs to be focus number one on the season.
Yep. Well, all right, boys. It's 9 o'clock already. Holy cow.
Yeah.
You
Time
guys got
flies.
any last thoughts, man? You got any last thoughts, Pat?
I do, but I'm going to give my last thought time to Spartan because I want to hear. I know we were supposed to have a guest today, but I want Spartan, if he's got some information on the Poncho Army stuff going on the next couple weeks,
Mhm.
I'd like for him to give a chance to have time to talk about that. So, Spartan, I'm giving my time to you.
Oh, appreciate you, Pat. So Saturday, for those of you that don't know, Poncho's Army is having their annual backpack drive, where we're going to hand out backpacks to kids in the local community. It's going to be take place starting at noon. There's going to be bounce houses, food, games, all kinds of stuff for the kids. So bring the kids out. It's going to be at Taggart Memorial Playground on Odell Street in Lackawanna. Again, it starts at noon. You'll see your boy Spartan out there. I'll have my helmet. Probably have my my good old energy sword.
You got the
I
gun.
don't
Are
think
you still doing the gun?
I don't think I'm going to bring that to a kids event. I bring that to the games. I don't think I'm going to
I'll bring a
that
sword, not a gun. Though.
Yeah, I'll bring a sword. Yeah, it's a lot better than a gun. So, but
you'll
yeah,
poke
we'll
your
be
eye
handing
out.
out backpacks. We'll be out and about mingling, just having a good time. That's this Saturday again at noon at Taggart Memorial Playground, Odell Street, Lackawanna, and then the Sunday before the home opener, there is a Poncho's Army cornhole tournament that will be taking place. I don't have all the details on that, but pay attention. I will post it to the BWO page as well as my personal page once I get all the information on that. But that will take place on that Saturday. There'll be guest appearances by either former or current Bills players. I don't know the full details of that again, but I will get that out to the pages as fast as I can get it. So, but keep an eye out for that. And I know there's a couple other things that are in the works. So please, if you want to follow me or I know on Instagram and X is where Poncho's Army usually posts a lot of stuff. Not too much on Facebook. It's mostly on there. You can follow Poncho's Army there, and they'll have all the information on the upcoming event. So hope to see you guys all there. Stop by, say hi, snap a photo, do whatever you want. I'll have some stickers for you, some BWO stickers, and I'll have my Buffalo Spartan one. So please stop by, say hi, get some pictures, get a backpack for your kids, and let's just have a great season this year.
Hell yeah, man. See, and that's part of the reason why the Mafia is always one of the best fan bases and always will. It's more about than just football to us. Raise the little kids up right, and then they'll be the next Mafia ones. Hey, that guy gave me a table. I'm jumping through it, or gave me a backpack. I'm jumping through a table. No. My daughter asked me to do that. I was like,
To
man,
jump
we're
through a
not that
table?
old. Oh yeah. I was like, we're gonna wait on that.
I said that the day we win the Super Bowl is the day I'm jumping through a table, because that way I can say, if I die, we won one before I died.
Just my recommendation: get one of the old wooden ones. Don't do those new plastic ones, because those bars underneath the table has like already a slit down the middle, but those bars underneath run straight solid. So one of them, when I was scared, man, that one I did last year for the spaghetti video, like when I stood up and shut the camera off and I turned around, I was like, man, something scratched my back up. That hurt. And that bar stood straight up in the air. I was like, oh my God, what if I would have just died doing a stupid spaghetti video, bro?
Corey, did the bar touch you? No place.
It almost did. Oh, so yeah, do one of the old wooden ones like on wrestling. Oh.
Or get rid of the bar.
Pre saw the underside.
They don't do that.
No, not at all.
That wasn't shown on Unreal.
Just like that ladder, just like the ladder during the females ladder match, like that one that was
Right.
on the announce table. What didn't have a cut in it because
No,
it was
right.
a perfectly straight line where it broke.
I was like, that lady just busted that ladder straight in half, like straighter
Yeah.
than a saw could have. I was like, yeah,
I-
okay.
Yeah, like that was definitely a cut mark.
But the best part is when it happened, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
shit.
and then when I watched the replay, I was like, that's a goddamn cut mark.
Right, yeah.
they're not trying to kill people. They're not Mick
Well,
Foley.
if they win the Super Bowl, Spartan will go through a table. I'll go through a flaming table.
We can do it right here at the shack. We'll go off the side rails
Right.
in tandem.
Oh, Pat can film it.
Maybe.
Oh,
All I
right,
gotta say
guys.
is if we do win the Super Bowl, as much as some of the people in our group hate to hear it, you are going to hear Seth Rollins' theme song, and you're just going to hear "Burn It Down" because the
Oh,
whole
my
city
God,
of Buffalo is going to burn.
Right. I'm not doing the table jump till after the parade because I'm gonna be
Yeah.
at that parade.
Yeah, you want to be able to walk for it.
I'm gonna do. I don't care.
We can wheel you in a little red wagon.
All right,
we
boys,
might be able to
wanna
get
thank
handicap
everybody
parking out of it. Oh, look at that! Look at that ugly mug.
You weren't referring to Corey's daughter in that one.
Yeah, I gotta get that kid to bed. Oh, well,
Gotta
all right,
love it.
guys. We
All
want
right.
to thank everybody for tuning in and for the comments, and thank you guys for all your thoughts and ideas on the topics we were talking about tonight. We'll catch you guys next week. I'm not sure. I don't think we have a guest lined up next week, do we?
Joey Hatch.
Joey.
Oh yeah, that's right, Joey. My
Yeah,
bad,
we're going
brother.
to talk football the whole
That's right.
time.
Next
So
week we
that's
have
awesome.
Joey.
And next
Yeah.
week we're
We
going to
finally had a football the whole time show. Holy
Yeah.
shit!
Unexpectedly,
Oh.
but
next week the
Oh.
plan is to go over the potential 53-man roster before the last preseason game. So,
all right.
so
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and go Bills.
go Bills.